Hello, it's Monday the 16th of January and I'm here with a 2-card tarot reading for you. I'm using my crystal tarot cards and I've been shuffling away here and I'm going to pick 2 cards out to see what comes out. Okay, right. Okay, the first card today that we've got is the 9 of Cups. Now I do like these cards because they haven't got pictures of people in the Minor Arcana. It is just the objects. And these ones are showering down water, but they seem really orderly, like they're on levels. So you've got like 3, 3 and 3. So it's like 3 lots of growth. And when I look at this card, I'm quite drawn to the fact of that them being in layers. So I'm going to show you the second card. I'm just going to hold that thought there for a moment and show you the second card that we've got, which is the Chariot. Okay. Now the Chariot, I'm fairly sure, let me just, excuse me, just reach across and get the book. I'm fairly sure that crystal in this crystal tarot deck that I've got, that is obsidian. Yes, it is. It's black obsidian. And that kind of is it's a brilliant all-rounder crystal. I'm sure lots of you have got that. It's one of the sort of starter pack crystals that I think people kind of know about, really. It's a wonderful card to hold for grounding and for getting rid of negative energy and just, changing the dynamics of a room. I know a lot of people put them on their computers at work, not just because of the electromagnetic fields of their computers and all the equipment at work, but just because it can kind of give you a bit of a protective barrier. But I was talking about these levels, and then we've got the Chariot that's coming in here as well. So yeah, that's the words that keep springing into my mind as I'm talking to you. Levels, next level. What's the next? I don't want to say challenge, because although 7s are associated with challenge, I don't really feel like it's that. I feel like this is more on a collective level, that we've all leveled up. And the reason I say that is because we're moving towards being into the Aquarius season. And I'm sure you've all got that song in your head, The Age of Aquarius. But I feel like the whole world has leveled up and we've got new challenges to face. But we kind of, how do I say it? We're kind of at a place now where we realise that everything that we do affects somebody else. There's like a knock-on effect. So that can be on a very global level. For instance, air pollution, or obviously we've had all the effects of a pandemic recently. That's been a bit of a wake-up call, and climate change. All these different things are showing us on a global level that, what we do affects somebody else. But also on a very personal level. So it's like people are starting to realise, and I feel like this is the message here, that if you're really angry and you take it out on somebody else, then that's just going to change their mood and it has a knock-on effect. The same goes for positive things, doesn't it? If you're really joyful and grateful, then, you pass in that gratitude and kindness and compassion onto somebody else. That has an effect. And I feel like the Chariot with their 2, I think these are sphinxes, but going in 2 different directions means that we all have a choice which way we can go. And I feel that this 9 of Cups is coming in to remind us that, we're a little bit maturer now, maybe, a little bit more worldly, a little bit more understanding of the part that we play in other people's lives. And the fact that, we've leveled up so much that maybe things have happened to us to make us realise that, some of the emotions that we have don't just affect us negatively, but other people as well. So yeah, this is a kind of collective message, but also a very individual message, because every decision that you make as to which emotion you're going to kind of put out there in the world does have a knock-on effect. And if we're using emotions for growth, and I say growth, 9s aren't really associated with growth. It's more 3s, really, the cards that have the 3s. But I'm getting this as like, 3 to the power of 3 lots of 3s on top of each other. And just learning that, sometimes things aren't great. Sometimes we do have challenges and things can be quite upsetting, but we can just be very honest with that and say, you know what, I'm not in a good place, I'm upset, bear with me if I'm not chatty or whatever, rather than snapping at somebody. Does that make sense? It's like, you can still feel the same way, but communicate it differently. And I do feel this Chariot card is about always having that fine line between the inner battle of our minds and emotions, but also just how we are perceived by other people. And one thing I want to say that I've just sort of popped into my head as well is that everybody has this kind of going one way or the other. Everybody with the Chariot is travelling down their own personal journey of life, and I think we are all constantly being tugged in one direction or the other, be that for our time, our energy, our money, our resources, or whatever it is. There's always an element of a bit of a struggle going on, and you never quite know what somebody else is going through. So I feel that, the 9 of Cups is traditionally associated with somebody that has got that all worked out in their head. And if you have, that's great. But if you come across somebody that hasn't, it would be quite easy to take it personally. But actually, you've got to think, well, maybe, I might have leveled up, but maybe they're not quite there yet. Maybe they're still on that journey. And I think it's accepting that makes it quite more manageable to deal with other people in the world. Last year I had a situation and I sort of made a very, how can I say, it made me realise that not everybody that you come into contact with is on the same stage of the journey that you are. So, you might be this person, that's got it all figured out and you're right up on that higher level, but you have to deal with on a regular basis people that are managing on a very much lower vibration. And that can be hard. And I feel that this is just an example of showing us that, to see that, you don't have to be dragged back down. You're still on that high level. You can still communicate and manage, but just a little bit of acceptance and compassion that perhaps not everybody is quite on the same hymn sheet, as my mum often says. So I hope that makes sense. I feel quite confused as I've been talking to you about that. Like I haven't really got my point across. But I do feel like that's half the message as well, that maybe you will understand me and maybe you won't. And if you don't, that's almost what I've been trying to say. Sometimes we don't quite get our messages across, but that's okay. So I'm going to leave that there. If I dig myself in an even bigger hole. Right, have a lovely Monday. I'll be back again tomorrow with another message for you. Please do like and subscribe my channel if you haven't done already. And if you would like to leave me a comment, I always reply. So I look forward to hearing them. All right, have a great day. Bye for now.